Hello, darlings. Welcome to our whirlwind tour of Washington, D.C., a city that's simply throbbing with history, culture, and frankly, rather good shoes if you know where to look. Join us as we dish out the most divine insider tips and tricks to transform your trip from simply satisfactory to absolutely fabulous. We're talking about iconic landmarks, darling, the ones you simply can't miss. And naturally, we'll be gracing the doorsteps of the most divine dining establishments, because what's a trip without a little indulgence? So fasten your seatbelts and get ready for a capital adventure. Now let's talk landmarks, shall we? Because, darling, no trip to Washington, D.C. is complete without a little rendezvous with history. First up, the Lincoln Memorial. Picture this: you, me, and Honest Abe himself, enjoying a spot of contemplation by the reflecting pool. Utterly breathtaking. Next, we're whisked away to the Washington Monument, a towering obelisk that pierces the sky with such grace it's enough to make you weak at the knees. And speaking of grand dames, have a gander at the White House, the residence of presidents, the heart of American politics, and an absolute must-see. But darlings, we mustn't forget the lesser-known gems. The Jefferson Memorial, a neoclassical masterpiece, will leave you utterly speechless. And for a dose of culture, the National Gallery of Art is simply divine. Trust me, their collection is to die for. After a hard day of sightseeing, one must refuel, and darling, Washington, D.C. does not disappoint. For a taste of authentic American fare, look no further than Ben's Chili Bowl. Their chili dogs are legendary, and trust me, they pack a punch. If it's international flavors you're after, Rasika is a must. Their modern Indian cuisine is simply divine, and the ambiance is utterly charming. And for a truly special occasion, book a table at the Inn at Little Washington. With 3 Michelin stars, it's an experience you won't soon forget. Now, darling, I know you have a sweet tooth, so for a sugary pick-me-up, make a beeline for Georgetown Cupcake. Their red velvet cupcakes are simply to die for. And for a taste of history, try a slice of pie at Baked and Wired. Now, darlings, let's talk culture. Washington, D.C. is a city that simply oozes history and the arts. For a truly unforgettable experience, catch a show at the Kennedy Center. From ballet to opera, their program is simply divine. And speaking of divine, a stroll through the National Museum of Natural History is a must. Their dinosaur exhibit is particularly impressive, even if I do say so myself. But darling, if you're looking for something a little more off the beaten path, head to the U Street corridor. Once known as Black Broadway, this vibrant neighborhood is teeming with jazz clubs, art galleries, and Ethiopian restaurants. It's a cultural melting pot that will leave you utterly enthralled. After a long day of exploring, darling, you'll need a place to rest your weary head. And when it comes to accommodation, Washington, D.C. has something for everyone. For a taste of luxury, check into the Willard Intercontinental. This historic hotel has hosted everyone from presidents to movie stars, and its opulent interiors will make you feel like royalty. If you're after something a little more boutique, the Hay Adams is a fabulous choice. Its location, just steps from the White House, is simply unbeatable. Now, darling, if you're on a budget, don't despair. There are plenty of charming bed and breakfasts scattered throughout the city. For a truly unique experience, I recommend the Swan House. This historic mansion offers a glimpse into Washington, D.C.'s past, and their breakfast is simply divine. Now, darlings, let's talk packing. Because a trip to Washington, D.C. requires a wardrobe that's both stylish and practical. First things first, comfortable shoes are a must. You'll be doing a lot of walking, and the last thing you want is to be hobbling around in agony. Next, pack layers. The weather in D.C. can be unpredictable, so it's best to be prepared for anything. A light jacket, a scarf, and a pashmina are all essential items. And speaking of essentials, don't forget your sunglasses and sunscreen. Even on cloudy days, the sun can be strong. And finally, darling, no trip to Washington, D.C. is complete without a touch of glamour. So pack your favorite dress, a statement necklace, and a pair of heels that would make Jackie O proud. Now, darlings, let's talk budget. Because let's face it, traveling can be expensive. But don't worry, with a little planning, you can experience the best of Washington, D.C. without breaking the bank. First things first, take advantage of the city's many free attractions. The National Mall, home to the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, and the World War II Memorial, is completely free to visit. And many of the Smithsonian Museums, including the National Air and Space Museum and the National Museum of American History, are also free of charge. When it comes to dining, there are plenty of affordable options available. Food trucks are a great way to sample local cuisine without spending a fortune. And for a sit-down meal, try one of the city's many ethnic restaurants. Well, darlings, our whirlwind tour of Washington, D.C. has come to an end. I do hope you've enjoyed our little jaunt through this captivating city. Remember, darling, a trip to Washington, D.C. is an experience like no other. It's a city that will stay with you long after you've said your goodbyes. Thanks for watching. We hope this guide helps you plan an unforgettable visit to Washington, D.C. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon for more travel tips and guides.